Well, folks. It's me again, and we are in a party mode. We're celebrating today. It's tag team month, as many of you know. I'm repping. It's reunion time. You know, Jeremy and I, it's been about a year since I resigned from my head of women's tag team title talk position. But from what I hear, Bliss Cross are back, ready to go. Everything's back to normal from what I can gather. So I got my shirt on today. Jeremy asked me to celebrate and all that good stuff. So, I just thought it makes sense. Keep this thing off. I don't know where Jeremy is right now. I assume he's getting some treats, some snacks. I think we're going to do a live watch along of the Bliss Cross. They're back, guys. The power is back in the World Wrestling Federation. I'm fired up about it. Just need Jeremy and we get this thing on the road. Here we go. That's super. You guys are fired up too. I like to see that. I like to see that a lot. We ready for this, folks? Bliss Cross Applesauce. Are we ready? It says it on the shirt. This was a shirt that could get you on a different kind of list before the ones they make now. But I got it anyway because I represent. I support. It's gonna be a party today, folks. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a big time party. I'm ready to go. Just think Jerry. He gets late to these things sometimes. Here he is,
Joseph.
Jeremy, what? You said we're celebrating today. What is this?
We are. We're celebrating the return of Bliss Cross, right?
I mean, yes. I'm not encouraged by how you intend to celebrate this occasion.
Joseph,
why do you look like this?
I am being my true self with my creative wings spread, and I want everybody to embrace the creativity. This is my idea. This is what I want to do. We're taking the distraction right to the top, Joseph. You need to believe in yourself just like I do. And Joseph, I am a velociraptor, Care Bear, owl, butterfly, superhero, dragon, podcaster.
Why do your wings
not believe? Top.
Your wings don't believe in themselves, Jeremy. I don't know if
they do. They fly. They flap.
No, they're clipped. They're not.
They flap.
I'm happy for you. It's your creative vision, right? So I have no opinion on it. I can't have an opinion. I'm not allowed.
Enjoy yourself, my creative vision, Joseph. This is what we're going to do. We're here to fly, everybody. Come fly with us. The distraction. And I said, psychosis.
This one's for all pals and O'Neill. Set to feed from the jaws of victory with the pop gun and the chubby cheese. Distraction. Hey, podcast. Pure filth. Wins and losses don't mean shit. So what's Joseph Grinch as I do his bit? Distraction. Hey, roll up. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, welcome everyone to The Distraction here on Fightful.com. I'm Jeremy Lambert, joined, as always, Joseph Hulbert. Joseph, how are you?
I'm terrible. After that,
What's
I'm
wrong?
Just terrible. I don't know. I knew what was coming, folks. Pull the curtain back. It still messed me up. It was the wings. It was the damn wings falling down by your side.
Butterfly and dragon wings.
Look, I knew you had a lot of different pieces at play here. I didn't realize what it would look like as one combined. It was very hard for me to hold it together.
I
didn't hold it together. I didn't do it.
The cape. We're flying, Joseph. We're flying high on the distraction.
Look, this be real about this. I want to make this clear. That was 100% a rib on me and not Nikki Cross, right? This be clear about it. So we got love for Nikki Cross. We root for her. We thumbs up. Good job, Nikki. Go for it. That was a rib on me who actually tried to get excited about Bliss Cross being back and then just got kicked straight in the balls immediately. But, I'm all for it. It was a good cold opening. We got some plan, but this one, every once in a while, man, one will jump the line. Yes. This one did that, right? So there you go.
The moment that happened, I was like, oh man, I got something for this. I got something for this one. JJ sends a super chat. Guys, send in your super chats. Get your question, comment, statement read on air. Go over to Fightful Select, subscribe. Sean's breaking a bunch of news today. Go over to Fightful.com where I'm just posting a bunch of news today. Go to the Distraction Patreon if you want directly to support us. Joseph, you can pay for Joseph's Pepsi Max habit by going to Distraction Patreon, patreon.com/the distraction. JJ says, hello to my favorite big stars. Hope you're both good. Wrestling is saved with Bliss Cross applesauce. Fred Kross and Lashley SummerSlam. Love you both. Thank you, JJ. Hope you are doing well. I think I'm defeating you in some tournament coming up. Bud Ryan says, hello, gents. Hope you're well. Delighted for crowds coming back. Hype for Yukasuzi, US Excursion, and Dynamite to be Wednesday. Yes, Dynamite will be back on Wednesdays next week, a Saturday episode, and then next week back on Wednesdays. We're excited for that too. Glad I can make Joseph's day as well. He had a graphic for you, right, Joseph?
Oh, man. Terry Funk graphic. Where I'm Mickey, he's Rocky. Extraordinary. There's very few Patreons out there, Jeremy. There's many wrestling patrons, as you know, right? And believe it or not, I think we're actually like, from a stat thing that I saw the other day, we're like a higher percentage as far as our patrons.
I saw that, yes.
Yes, which is very funny. Very, very funny. But I am now reviewing 1970s Terry Funk matches. Pretty unique content. And the Great Bud Ryan made a tremendous graphic. So, yes, that's a thing. Our friend JJ mentioned Kross. Can we circle back to that? I know we've got no more super chats. Is that it? We done?
No, we're good.
Okay, we need to talk about this. Have you seen this? This like main event thing?
Yes.
Okay, how are we playing this on? Because either he's being ribbed or he does not want to be on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. Which are we? What happened here? Because this, honestly, look, I'm not a Kross guy. It was like his production was look as uninteresting as you possibly can. Look like the most nothing professional wrestler ever, and he just did it. Does he know? Is that just what he looks like about Scarlett and I'm forgetting? What? Where are we at on this, Jeremy? Help. I don't know what to think of it.
I feel like it's almost a rib on him of just like Vince is like, give me your champions, whoever you got. And then Triple H is explaining these big elaborate ideas. So he's got smoke and the lights are down. And he's got his girlfriend and she sings. She's like, forward, pray, forward, pray. And, and he roars and everything. And it's this big ordeal. People are pounding on the glass and everyone loves it. And Vince is just like, just play the music and have them come out. Just let me see.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
To wrestle Shelton, who's deceptively tall, and he's like a shooter that could blow him up. And folks, the World Wrestling Federation's a big place. Okay, not everyone's going to be on your side. There's a lot of weird stuff with Kross, right? I mean, you mentioned before the In Your House, like some of those promos were like they were dunking on him, and he won the match, but the whole match was built around the idea that he couldn't hang with the other guys almost. So he's in a weird spot. Yeah, I guess not, but we obviously all get a little bit carried away. He's fine. I don't think he's the guy you give a monster push to. I'm fascinated to see what happens to him on the main roster. I genuinely cannot wait just to see what it looks like, because obviously this is main event. They're not putting a lot of thought into it, but still, it's going to be a ride, Jeremy. When we get there, it's going to be a ride.
Frank Aguilar says, love you guys doing the Bulls code opens in real life. Dude, when Kylo made that intro, and I was like, we can do cold opens for this show, I was all in. It's the best part of our show. You can just turn it off after the first couple of minutes. Once the intro plays, it's just all downhill from here.
I feel like people do that, though. We probably shouldn't encourage. They probably already do it. They're going to talk wrestling now. So that's the one problem with the cold open, is it tells the audience that the silliness is limited to those segments, So now people are like, oh shit, wrestling talk. Fast forward, get to Bob, whatever.
What about before when it's corner 3 time? Well, speaking of NXT, Joseph, you brought up its champion. NXT is good. It's a great show. I mean, the viewership is the exact same as it was 2 weeks ago, even though Samoa Joe is back. But, the Diamond Mine, Malcolm Bivens leading the MMA group. Roderick Strong is back. Colin O'Reilly in the feud that'll never end. It's a great show. You loved it, right? That's what I read. That's the word on the street is Joseph is now NXT guy Joe Hulbert.
I mean, this is a complete lie, but if that's what we're going to do today, fine. Look, I've always a fine show. It's a good show. There's a lot of good on NXT, Jeremy. I produced a post on the Patreon in fear of doing another plug here. And I just was trying to piece it together, Jeremy. I was trying to figure it out, why I liked so much on the show piece by piece, but my overall view is very just sort of, it's fine. I mean, this show had a couple matches I really liked. I love Hit Row as an act.
Yeah.
You had the closing angle, which is right up you and I's street, because we get Bivens and Roddy. And, you sprinkle some Tyrus from Suzuki. I'm with it. But I left it and I was like, okay. I'm never excited to follow this along. I'll say Bivens is about as close as you can get me. The thing is, I touched on something on that post that I think is worth delving into. I think the show suffers from a lack of, pure babyface emotional core, you know? And I talked about this in my thing, like, it seems like Kross is a heel after all. You and I were wrong. He's a heel because he was very mean to Regal.
I think we were right, and then they turned him.
Yes, you're right. We discussed it. We're always right. Yes. So we did that, and Kross is a heel now, okay? Gargano is either being turned babyface because he can have good matches and Kross can't, and that's the story, or they're just doing heel versus heel. Adam Cole is a heel that no one wants to boo, but he's definitely a heel because he betrayed his best friend. So definitely a heel, punch guys in the dick and all that stuff. And then you've got, who else was in that match? Who else was in the 5-way?
O'Reilly was technically the one face.
And the other, who else was it? Dunne. Pete Dunne.
Yeah, Pete Dunne.
So he's a heel, but he worked Johnny, which we assume is because Johnny is now maybe a babyface, even though they both were heels in that segment. Now, O'Reilly is the one that you can say, okay, in terms of morality, he's about as close we got as to like a straight babyface. I mean, he is the babyface, right? There's no shade. Yes. He's a babyface. Whether Kyle is getting over or not in this role, I think is a different question. I don't, you know, I'm not seeing enough for it to give you a big comment on it. It seems middling to me. I'm not sure he's that guy. But like outside of him, and I guess you got Bronson and the MSK guys, it's a show defined by shades of grey and sort of everyone's kind of a dick. You know, people betray each other at every turn. I think that may be, and this is talking for myself here, not for anyone else. I think that may be my problem with the show. The idea that there's no characters I can just follow in a straight line narrative without worrying about they're going to, because they love that like turns to the dark side narrative in NXT, right? Like Gargano being the ultimate. They love that shit. So I think that's one of my main issues in far as getting invested. But as a show, he's quite good, Jeremy. I agree.
The face problem or lack of face problem is definitely an issue. Like O'Reilly seems like he should be that guy. This ain't the gimmick for it. It was such a weird switch of like he has this brutal, hard-hitting match against Adam Cole that I didn't fully enjoy, and then he just comes out and he's cool Kyle. It's like this is the switch here. Like he gets betrayed by his best friend. He wants to fight him in the hospital, Diaz Riggs style. And then he's just coming out in his like denim jacket and vintage shirt and everything. And he doesn't care about anything. It was an odd switch, but it was his idea, you know, it was his idea, Joseph. So you can't knock it. It was tough. Like I don't really like want to root. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel organic at all. It just felt like this is what he wants to do. Let's just let him do it. And it's like, all right, sure. Why not?
I also think, so you're higher on Adam Cole than me. I think Adam Cole's very good. I think you're someone that sees him higher up in this one.
Yes.
You know, if we're doing a big board, I think you would go higher. I have my moments with him in ring where I'm not sure. I have to say, though, like, bless Carlo Riley, I love watching him wrestle, but Adam's, in terms of charisma and just general star appeal, Adam Cole was on a different scale to Kyle, right? And I don't mean that as a dismissive thing to Kyle. Like, I thought he was terrific in this week's opening segment, Adam Cole, as like an actual top guy. He talked with confidence and conviction, and he felt like a star. I've never seen that from Kyle. And it's like, that also doesn't help because you're telling a story where clearly Cole is the piece of shit here. Like, does this audience want to cheer Kyle over Adam Cole? I don't know. And even forget cheering because we're in this current landscape. Like, do people at home want him to beat Adam Cole? It's difficult to say, isn't it?
I think where they kind of messed up was like Cole is the heel, but nobody likes Kross. And so when you give Cole the lines of burying Kross so much, it's like, oh yeah, we like Adam Cole now because like he's the one burying the guy we actually don't like. And yet Cole just has a charisma and presence about him where you've got to really lean into him being a full bore heel. And they were doing that with the Undisputed Era turn. Like I thought that worked, but then again, they shifted directions coming out of that feud to where it's like O'Reilly didn't really care and just was dismissive. And it's like, it shouldn't have had that kind of change. And then Cole attacks the guy that's like, honestly, maybe the most hated guy on the roster based on where they position him to the reactions they want, to the reactions that they're getting. I don't think they positioned these guys very well. And that is an issue. Then there's Finn, who is now off television. And I mean, he is definitely a babyface. We will see what happens when he returns. I think O'Reilly can be, I don't know if he's like your top face, but he can be the guy that you can almost like a Finn Balor type, but he's got to go with that almost like shooter game. He can't do this like cool Kyle type of thing. It just doesn't work.
So one of the other things within this conversation is you mentioned Finn. Is Finn and Io Shirai did those weird ones where they were turned heel, which made them like, I don't want to say Finn was made cool again, but I think Io Shirai's presentation was way cooler as a heel to me, which then meant that people cheered her. So then she went back to babyface without really turning, right? Do you remember this, Jeremy? So Io Shirai, she was a heel and people just cheered her and it was like, she's now a babyface. Finn, same thing. He was the champ as a babyface. That's fine. You can have characters like that. I think when it isn't like an authentic thing or a sincere thing in terms of their like disposition, though, I think it muddies the waters. So it's okay if you have then 4 strong baby faces below each of those. But when you don't, that becomes an issue because it encapsulates the whole product. Like, so another example would be, it's like Priest was a baby face, right? Yes. But like he just sort of flipped at some point. And then they did stuff with Leon Ruff. And it's like, they look, for some people in the chat, they'll say this is why they like NXT. They like the shades of grey. There's not a right or wrong on this. I'm a traditionalist. I think, Jeremy, you're probably close to me on this of like, we kind of like it being a clear babyface and heel. And I was talking to my friend Bob O'Neill, who's obviously an idiot, and and he was going, well, AEW doesn't have baby. It's like AEW really only has like 2 or 3 characters that are in the middle. I'd say Pac, I'd say Penta, and other than an Archer, I'd say Archer. Dude, the rest of them, like, we can easily decide they're babyface or heel, right? I mean, they're pretty defined. I think there's a huge difference there, to me anyway. And this is just, again, I'm speaking from my enjoyment. I like a clear cut, good guy, bad guy. It's just me.
I'm with you. I was trying to think who else in AEW, especially at like top of the card, is like this guy. I think Pac and Penta lean more towards heel as well, but obviously the alliance with Eddie and the feud with the Elite does give them the shades of gray vibe. But especially like top of the card stuff, it's like I know who's good and who's bad.
Yes,
up here, like I don't think there's any shades of gray. Like, dude, we didn't know if Kross was a babyface or a heel 2 weeks ago and he's their champion. They got to figure out. You're right about Gargano because Gargano's been a heel, like that's been the way act. But people love Gargano. That comedy stuff, like it doesn't scream like top of the card heel, but you can position that as a baby face and people are going to cheer it. And that seems what's going to happen with Gargano because now he's feuding with Kross and Kross is a heel, I believe. That's what I've been told now. So now it's okay. Is it heel versus heel? Is Gargano now the baby face? It's such an odd dynamic.
Yes. Go ahead.
I don't know. Like they just don't. You're right. They don't have clearly defined heels and face. Like Cole should have been their top heel. Like once he turned on Undisputed Era, I feel like they messed that story up so bad.
He should have won the belt, and then Riley should have chased the champ.
Yeah, like it felt like such an easy story to tell. And then now Strong is back. I guess Roddy's a heel, right? He attacked Kushida.
Yes.
So Kushida is a pure babyface. Just push Kushida to the top of the card. I know this guy's a babyface at least. So Roddy's a heel now, even though he got left in the cold by his friends and was like a babyface in that feud coming out of it, or after the split because he wanted to trust Cole and Cole turned on him. But now Roddy's a heel. That was such like a moment thing, right? Like they screwed that up. So Undisputed Era is such a big part of NXT history, and they did the turn. Fish wasn't even there for it, which felt like a miss automatically to not have all 4 of the guys there. And then coming out of it, I don't feel like any of these guys are in a better position.
Yeah, it always felt kind of, I don't want to say desperate, that'd be too front, but it felt reactive. It felt like we need to do something, and that's what they did. And there's some strengths to it, but unfortunately the talent, I think the world of these guys as talents, I do think they were stronger as a unit. I think like the fact that Roddy's, he's going to lead this faction, but it's obviously lower than what the Undisputed Era was. Like Roddy's best role is one of the workhorses of a big group. Like he's great at that. It's not a problem. I think O'Reilly probably fits a similar, but I will say that's the AEW point because I know that someone in chat will point out the women's division is more shades of grey because they have less names of note, wouldn't they? So like someone like Serena Deeb, she could wrestle a babyface or a heel, couldn't she? Britt and Nyla are about to wrestle as a heel match. Like that side of it, I would agree. The men's side, not so much, but still it's worth noting that. I think even to build on this more, And again, I want to reiterate, I thought NXT was good this week. And, you did
Certainly
too.
seems like it, based on both of our comments. We really enjoyed NXT this week. Who's the heels and who's the baby faces? What's wrong with this stupid show?
Here's the thing, okay? If I look at it as an isolated 2 hours of wrestling television, I would be absurd to say it was bad. There was good wrestling and there was promo segments I liked, okay? What I'm saying is I'm trying to isolate why I never give it. When the show ends, I'm never like, oh, I'm looking forward to next week. I'm just like, okay, that was NXT this week. I will come back to this. That's what I'm trying to figure out. In addition, two of the other guys that have been babyface on the show, Ciampa and Thatcher, who could be, look, I could be wrong on this, were seemingly both heels within the last year and sort of just like became friends and now they're babyfaces. At some point, man, you need some damn heroism. You need some people that are just straight, and they don't have to be, coming out there kissing babies, but you need some people that are sort of just straightforward good guys. That's my biggest issue. Now, look, we're talking more within it. Good main event, good opening. The opening 20 I thought was terrific. I love that NXT with the PC can have a built-in like hierarchy, where an Adam Cole can look at Carmelo Hayes and be like, "This is WWE main roster has lost that to me, where I feel like any of these guys could lose to anyone." I mean, the Money in the Bank qualifiers, Jeremy, are that to an absolute. Like, Orton lost to Morrison, AJ lost to Ricochet. It's like, sure they did. I don't know. NXT has an ability to avoid that with the PC because they have guys, rookies in the system, constantly coming in. So I like that. The main event was really good. The closing angle was really good. I love the way they're presenting Frankie Monet. I thought it was great to see Gargano working as a babyface.
Right. Frankie Monet is a heel. She's
a heel. But it was great to see Gargano working as a babyface in that tag with the other guy. It was good, man. I like it. It was a lot of good on there. I'm just trying to kind of think big picture. But yeah, no, I'm going to try and stick with it. We'll see where I'm at. We're talking about it more. This is good. This is progress, right?
Was Ciampa a heel at any point over the past year? I feel like he's stayed mainly a babyface. He feuded with Thatcher, and then they had. I'm pretty sure they did a fight pit match, and then they became friends after that. But now they're going to face MSK. MSK, I think, are baby faces, but the crowd boos them. Yeah, so
that's where maybe it ain't their fault because they're like the most obvious baby faces, and the crowd doesn't like them. So maybe it's the fans' fault. Jeremy,
Triple H is onto something, Joseph. It is the fans' fault for ruining their own enjoyment of the product. Music and Moonsaults, our buddy Chris says, cool Kyle on his own doesn't work as well as it did with Undisputed Era. Adam Cole is number one on my big board. I mean, I would in NXT, I would take Finn over Cole, but I am a Cole guy. And Music Moonsaults also says Undisputed split was their idea, guys. It's all
so, can we talk about Finn for a minute? So I don't follow every professional wrestler on the social medias, but I follow Finn because great pro wrestler, Tottenham Hotspur fan, seems like a great guy, right? And like there are times where I see Finn on my feeds and I'm like, where is Finn? He seems to have just won. It seems like he's defeated the game and sort of he's under contract at WWE, but he exclusively like wrestles the matches he would want to wrestle.
Yeah.
He changed the whole style of main event matches only for his title run, and they got rid of it as soon as he left. He like vanishes sometimes. He just seems to be having a great time. Finn Balor, if you're listening to this, I hope you're not listening to wrestling podcasts because I don't think he even watches wrestling or cares about it. He just does his matches. He goes home. He tours the world. He has a great we need to talk about this more, Jeremy. Finn Balor's won. All this way, get out. Why don't you get out of WWE and tour the world and work bowler? Finn's like, how about I just stay in WWE and work 10 matches a year? We can talk about that one. It works, dude. I'm all for it. By the way, Jeremy, I have an update. I've gone to the always credible source of Wikipedia.
Okay.
Which says, after a brief hiatus following his loss to Karrion Kross, Ciampa returned as a heel on the August 26th edition of NXT, where he defeated Jake Atlas and continued with a post-match assault.
Oh.
There you go.
And then what happened? Somebody came out, maybe?
We know that Jake's a babyface and he beat the shit out of us. Your pal Kiwi said it in the chat too. Sorry, I should have just credited you rather than bringing up Wikipedia on my phone.
I didn't see the name, Your Pal Kiwi. I thought you were like, Jeremy, Your Pal Kiwi. Who is Kiwi? Kiwi, you're a pal. But I thought Joseph was like specifically referencing somebody.
So there you go. We learned a lot here today. We learned a lot.
There you go. I do not remember this Ciampa and Jake Atlas attack here. NXT, it's gotten better these past couple of weeks. I still think the energy was better this week with Joe there. Joe still just has a presence that like nobody else on this show has. Samoa Joe's a babyface, right? We've got that part nailed down.
Even when he's attacking people's wives and stuff, attacking was too strong a word. I apologize for that. But taunting a woman's. By the way, Pete Dunne, talking about big balls and stuff. Pete Dunne's one of the most prolific in-ring performers in WWE history, right?
Yes.
I don't think anyone has more consistently produced classics under a WWE banner. Obviously, that's circumstantial because often he would wrestle main events on NXT UK shows. We get this all, folks. I'm trying to set up a point here, okay? Now, I have a question because I am a Brit and I think my perspective on this may be skewed. Is Pete's promo, is it on the scale, is it low enough that he's like ceiling is actually compromised? Because we've all had to change our mindset and realize, like, listen, man, a top guy doesn't have to be a 6'8" promo guy or a personality guy. I have to say, I think the world of Pete. He comes out and talks on NXT, dude, and I'm like, I don't know how you get around this without a manager. I just think he really struggles. Now, that may be because I'm a Brit and I'm biased against Brummies. That may be. That's the 4 Brits in the chat went, yeah, fuck the Brummies. But I'm joking. But I think he really, it's at a point for me, it's like, man, maybe he should have Bivens. I guess he had Pat, but McAfee's a commentator on SmackDown now. Well, what do you think? Where am I on this stream? Am I wrong?
Hey, I never thought Dunne is a guy that should like talk at all. Like just have him come in, beat the shit out of people, break some fingers and stuff. Like I don't need this guy ever talking, and it'd be fine. Does he? You can get around that without a mouthpiece if you just make him like Silent Assassin, or you can have him a hired gun, whatever you want to do. Like you can get around it in certain ways. Should he have a mouthpiece? Probably. Like, yeah, McAfee was the guy. I mean, Oni, I don't know. I like Oni, but they don't seem to have any actual plans for him. And then Danny Burch as well. Like these aren't got like super strong promos. You're like, oh yeah, these are going to carry you and kind of like carry Dunne as to be the top guy. McAfee was that guy. Yeah, he's not there anymore. Selena De La Renta was at the Performance Center.
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe.
Her?
I think she's like a money act for someone, and Pete is definitely positioned and performance-wise high enough to warrant that. Like, I don't think she's someone you just give to like some random undercard guy, you know?
Right.
The thing with Pete is I think because of his size, and this is not me trying to be some sort of 1980s analyst, I'm just trying to talk broadly. I don't know if he's someone that they're going to be rushing to use as like physical machine killer man. So it's like, his size, I feel like he needs some kind of promo, or he needs mouthpiece. So look, it's just thinking out loud here. But Selena, she could do it. She's terrific. I mean, I think AEW really missed not throwing money her way for Andrade. To me, but whatever.
Well, that's where they paired Dunne with Riddle, and like Dunne was good in those segments because he could play off the comedy of Riddle, but that wasn't like his main event tag team act. I'd always seen Dunne, especially if you're not going to put him with a manager. I mean, he's called the bruiserweight. Like I always saw him as just a different style cruiserweight who could just ground and pound these guys. And like, that was kind of where I would position him. I love Pete Dunne. I think he's tremendous in ring. He never struck me as like, yeah, this is the guy that's going to carry the actual promotion. NXT UK, sure. But it wasn't going to carry one of these like top US promotions, and probably because of his size and his limited promo. So if you want to position him that high, he probably does need a manager, because he's not gonna be able to do it just on ability alone in the US wrestling scene.
Oh, I tend to agree. We don't really do conversations like this, but I thought it was interesting because he did a segment with Gargano, and I was like, I mean, Johnny he's a confident like talker. He's not a great promo, right? Johnny Gargano. In that segment, I mean, Pete spoke for 30 seconds and Johnny felt like The Rock. It was like, wow, it was striking. So it stood out to me. But nonetheless, we've done 30 minutes of NXT, which is about 25 minutes too long, because really our conclusion was, it's a good show, we don't care. So let's move on.
Jay Evans says, do you think the network is worth the money? I don't know. I just use Joseph's. It's free for me.
It all depends on where you're as a fan, because like for me, it definitely is, because I love watching old wrestling. If you don't like watching old wrestling, no. Because you can get those pay-per-views elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to. in fear of brothering here and speculating, you can do other things to get pay-per-views. The vault is, to me, the attraction. So it depends where you're at as a fan.
AEW, their last non-Wednesday show this week. We are so thankful, right? I mean, we got branded an AEW podcast last month before they went to Friday nights. TK was sending the checks every week, and now we don't have anything to praise on Thursdays. We're like, the Friday show happened 5 years ago. Not really much to talk about from it. They're back on Wednesdays. We will become an exclusive AEW review podcast again. Everybody can look forward to that next week. Saturday, it was talked about being a big show. They got a world title match on it. They got Hangman and Hobbs, which is fine. And then so far, just like kind of stuff on the show, right?
It's a weird one. It makes me wonder if they're like, look, the Daily's place here, it is what it is. We're retooling. And then they're shifting matches that we're playing for this show. Like, so for example, FTR, Proud and Powerful, like they did a vignette last week, Jeremy. Like I was convinced they were going to come back live and be like, next week, it feels like that's been shifted to one of the July shows. It feels like Christian and Matt Hardy has been shifted to one of the July. And you know what, man? Like, that's probably for the best. You got 4 specials to stack up on Wednesday, which is your night. You're back in front of crowds. You got a Kenny Omega title match for TV. That should do the trick. And I think a Hangman's, showcase, not showcase is unfair to Hobbs. A Hangman match of note is worthwhile. I'm really intrigued what this match looks like because Jungle Boy is someone we're very high on and very exciting prospects. I think Kenny has done a wonderful job of leading him through this program, and that has not always been a strength for Kenny's tomorrow. I think he's actually been a very good TV character in this thing. Like,
yes,
he's being so out there and outlandish as the kind of dick, obnoxious heel. It's allowing Jungle Boy's shyness to come off even more endearing, which is, that's a feat. That's good stuff. What was that noise? That's very scary. But anyway, it's outside, Jeremy.
Okay.
The fans are outside again. It's difficult. But
crowd cheering you?
Yes. Well, Thunderdome style,
Okay.
1-2 kick out, that kind of deal. But here's the thing, okay? So I think Kenny's been great. Jungle Boy, for a young wrestling prospect, he's relatively traditional in ring, right? This kind of gives me the sense of like people are going to hate this. I'm saying it anyway. Flair defending the title on TV vibes, where it's like, I don't think this is the time for Kenny to do like 101 innovative things. It's a clear spot of babyface versus heel. Tell that story, take that ride, and let's see how invested people are by the end of it. I think people should be biting on the false finishes by the end because Jungle Boy, it's a simple character, man. He's a straight babyface. So I'm excited for the match. I wish the show was a bit more loaded and stacked, but it will live and die on how good that main event is, which I'm confident will be very good. What about you?
I think it'll be a great match. I think when it comes to this show, you're getting the Omega match. They obviously see Hangman as a star. They're very high on Hobbs. There's no reason, especially because like they want to. It was the same thing with Fridays. It's like, oh, this is like your Rampage preview, and then the numbers came back, and it's like, oh, like we don't need to be giving away these numbers to like less than 500 live every week. I don't think the Saturday numbers, it's going to be up against an NBA playoff game. That'll be on ABC. It'll probably be up against an NHL playoff game, potentially. Maybe even like a game 7 for the NHL, which would be tough. So it's tough to see it, perform. And it's Saturday night. There's maybe even a UFC on as well. You just don't need to, I don't think it's a good card or anything, but you don't need to be quite giving away everything, especially like when you said, like, you're back on Wednesdays. You've got I think people will come back. You'll get back like the 800, 900 you were doing before, but you've got to like come in and really reestablish that day. They're doing that with 4 specials. You can't do 4 specials and like not give big matches on these things. Cody and QT strap match, sure. Like FTR, Proud and Powerful, that you mentioned, that's a big one. Christian and Matt Hardy, they're building that to be a big one. Like you got to have some big matches coming out of these events. I think you'll get like another Omega title match. I think you'll get like a big Miro match on one of these shows as well, and probably a big Young Bucks title defense as well. So you're going to have these big matches on these shows. Those are when you need to go hard on for when you're starting to tour again. So this is maybe a disappointing card overall. You're still getting the Omega match. I'm with you on Omega. Like, I don't think Jungle Boy as a wrestler, I think he's great, especially for his age. As a like character, he's just like Jungle Jack, right? Like, just like a dude who hangs out with his dinosaur friend, and it's like, right? Like, whatever. He said it. He said in interviews, like, I'm not comfortable on promos. Like, they try to give me a promo, I'm just like running away. Like, I'm just not comfortable doing that stuff. And it's very clear that he's not. And I think Omega is so over the top and so dickish with things. And you throw in Callis as well. Callis is like great at this role. That Jungle Boy can just kind of like be himself, be kind of shy, be like, whatever you say, like, you know, it's fine. Like, I'm just here to win and stuff. And it works in this sense because Omega and Callis are so good. As far as the match goes, I think you will see just kind of Omega's going to get his shit in. He's going to do his 500 V triggers. But I think he's going to really lean into the heel stuff because he's done this against Pac and Orange Cassidy and like wrestlers. He could just go out there and just be like, all right, let's do classic match. He's done like just full heel shit in those matches. So I think you'll see plenty of that in this match, especially considering how clean Jungle Boy is.
Are we locked in still for Hangman at the All Out?
I still am, but this is basically just a thing of like, we've all just talked ourselves into this, right? Like we discussed it. Right? Yeah. Like we've discussed it. It just feels like we've just all talked ourselves into this and like they're doing it slow. I think Hangman's going to get great reactions in front of the touring crowd again. So it's going to be very hard to ignore. But it does feel like it's more of just a fan-made type thing of, yeah, this is where they're going. It's very obvious. And it's like, on television, it's not very obvious.
It feels to me as though, I agree with you, Kenny's going to defend the title next month. I'm thinking Orange Cassidy for that. I think we're going to get the Young Bucks versus Penta and Eddie. I know that sounds weird, but they've been wrestling on Dark now 2 weeks in a row, and we know how Tony uses Dark, right? Listen, folks, Penta and Eddie do not need reps. I mean, it's a case of getting them wins.
Yeah.
And it's a big match. It's a main event match, right? For tag titles. It feels like we're going there and Orange is going to wrestle for the belt to me.
Is Jericho cleared enough? Because they're doing MJF and Sammy the Wednesday show.
Right.
So like MJF and Jericho is the match. It's a matter of when's Jericho going to be cleared with the arm injury. He said 6 weeks after Blood and Guts, but then he wrestled Stadium Stampede and obviously had the big brace on.
Right.
Like when is Jericho going to be cleared to do the MJF match? I imagine that probably a TV match. I don't know if you're stretching that one to September. Please don't.
Yeah, that could be the last special main event, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't think either you or I is like desperate for that one. I can speak for myself, I'm not. But like, it's a big match.
But that's a main event match for them.
Yeah, so you're looking at, we've already pieced together a few there that could easily main event one of these specials. So it's like, they've got the pieces in play. I initially thought Christian was going to get Kenny on one of these specials where he would like come out afterwards, save Jungle Boy. Feels like he's wrestling Matt Hardy, which
I'm still not unconvinced. I'm still not unconvinced we don't get Christian and Omega at Rampage. Because they're going to have a big main event for that first show, right? And I thought that the Battle Royal winner was going to get that one. Then they're just like, oh, let's do Jungle Boy a couple weeks later. I think we might get Christian and Omega at Rampage premiere.
Is that in Pittsburgh, that show?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, do you just headline that with Brit title defense?
What date is that, Jeremy? I know I'm asking a lot of questions here. What day is that?
August 13th.
Too far for Nyla Rose then, probably, right? Putting it to do that match. Yeah,
way too far. I don't think you're stretching out this Nyla Rose feud for another 7 weeks.
It's a shame because stylistically that would be the person to do the match because Nyla, you're fine with getting booed. She's a heel.
Right.
Like I saw some of the suggestions I was like, I don't know, man, because they're going to get booed. Like Britt's obviously going to be the babyface, right? So maybe Serena. Serena's someone I would trust to have like a great match with Britt. That could be a play. Ratings-wise, I'm not sure, but it's Rampage. It'll be what it'll be. So there you go. That was the Dynamite talk for show that hasn't happened yet. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm assuming we're now going to turn to Money in the Bank, which is
I guess.
I mean, we've just fantasy booked again. We have nothing to talk about. It's very sad. I know.
Money in the Bank. We had qualifiers this weekend. This week on Raw. Joseph, we had Riddle, Ricochet, and John Morrison qualifying. The news of these matches broke while we were on Twitch on Monday. And I think you were very much assumed, Drew's winning. I think a lot of people did. Like, Drew's going to win. He's going to be in the Money in the Bank. He might even win the briefcase. And I'm just like, some of the way they are setting these matches up, I was just like, I could easily see, distraction finish, Ricochet wins because they want him in a ladder match. Distraction finish, Morrison wins because they want him in a ladder match. Riddle wins because they seem to be high enough on him and maybe they don't want to beat him. And like, that's what happened. They won these matches. Like, I can't speak to the finishes. I don't know what do you think I watch these matches? Of course not. So I can't speak to the finishes on this stuff, but they're getting ladder match guys in there. We'll see what happens with them, but it was not the obvious candidates to kind of win. They get the last chance gimmick next week, but that's only going to put one of AJ, Orton, and Drew in this match.
I mean, we know who's winning that match, right? You and I know who's winning that match. Like, it's Drew's obviously winning that match, Jeremy. Like,
You're convinced. You're convinced of this Drew thing. You don't think there's any chance that they are doing Drew McIntyre fall from grace?
Yes, that's the fall. This is how they do these angles. He's just done the fall. He lost twice. That's it. Do you remember when John Cena did the fall from grace and he just lost once and that was the end? This is what they do.
And then he beat Brock in the next pay-per-view.
I wanted to bring to your attention, and I know you've probably covered this, but I want to bring this to our chat's attention, all that good stuff. In an interview with Yahoo, Bob Lashley was asked about his top contenders. Did you see this, Jeremy?
Yes. Yeah. He said the same thing to Sean. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I can credit Sean. But here is now. Look, often you will hear me on the show say I think Raw is lacking some star power. Well, when asked the WWE champion of his own take on this, he suggested there are 8 guys who are right there at that level. Randy Orton, AJ Styles. Okay, we can accept that. Keith Lee, that is what it is.
It's been on television since February.
Yes, Miz, Morrison, Elias, Jackson Riker, and Damian Priest. Well, it appears to me that Drew McIntyre will maintain his position as the top babyface. And aside from that, Brock is obvious. Like, listen to that lineup. And I have my hesitation with Brock as like, just bringing him back and beating Bob. To me, it just kills all you've done. But at the same time, good Lord. I mean, it's a challenge, man. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know, Jeremy.
It's not a great roster. That's their own fault. I think Orton's a babyface but he's like feuding with New Day, or the Ultimate Babyfaces. You're not stretching Kofi to sign. We are getting Lashley and Kofi at Money in the Bank. That'll be good, but they won't be in the Money in the Bank match. Priest feels like the guy. I know he's been off television right now, whether it's a back or undisclosed reasons, whatever the reason might be. I feel like they just don't have anything for him. They don't want to beat him, and so they just keep him off television. That's what they do. Because if they don't have anything for you, they just keep you off TV. I feel like Priest might be that guy going into Summer. Like, out of that list, if you're not getting Brock and you're not doing Drew again at SummerSlam, you can't do Drew again. I guess if he wins the Money in the Bank, I guess you can do Drew again.
You can do Drew again. Yes.
But like, out of that list, like, Priest feels like the guy, right?
Yeah, and look, we like Priest. I mean, Priest has got a lot going for him, but it's slim pickings. Like, it's not ideal, and it shouldn't be that way. They got so much world-class talent. It shouldn't be such a like God bless John Morrison. I think he's been terrific since he came back in terms of how hard he's worked. But like, he's just not that guy, right? Bless him. He shouldn't be on anyone's main event scene rundown. It's a difficult one, and I feel for Lashley because I think his act, even with the Hurt Business being a thing apart, I think there's a lot to it. But man, you got to be, when you have a heel like that, you got to build a babyface factory for him. You got to be running, and Kofi's a good option. But look at what they're doing with Roman on the other side, and it's so much better, it's so much stronger. So that stood out to me, that quote. Now, as for the Money in the Bank, I'm sticking with Drew as my pick. Where are you at? Are you saying Priest is Money in the Bank? Or are you just saying he's the baby? What do we think Money in the Bank? And then we'll get to the women, which is like taking your head and just jamming it against the wall for 10 minutes. So let's do the men first.
Well, I assume it's 4 on each side. So Money in the Bank, you've already got 3. The 4th will be whoever wins this triple threat match. Unless, they had the people backstage like, if you take somebody out, you get their spot. I see people saying that Jinder is going to take out Drew. I think these guys are like going to try to take somebody out. I actually think like they might just have like Jinder take out Ricochet. Honestly, like they don't see anything in Ricochet, right? Like they give him the win over AJ, but it just feels like he got that win because he'll be good in ladder matches to get people excited, and then they'll just take him out of the match right before the ladder match and put Jinder in, or put Jeff Hardy in or something. So I could easily see them taking out Ricochet. As far as like those guys, I don't know. Like, what if someone from SmackDown wins the briefcase and comes over to Raw and cashes in? Is there anybody on the SmackDown side that's a babyface? You'd be like, oh yeah, he can win this and then be the challenge.
There's two, right? I mean, it's either Big E or Cesaro.
Yeah.
More likely Big E. There was talk about it this week, right? Who had that?
Yeah, Big E. I think WrestleVotes. He said it was going to be at the draft. Like, Big E makes the most sense too, because you're coming off the New Day feud. And so Big E wins Money in the Bank and he comes over to Raw. And, you know, Big E's not a guy that's like gonna, at least he doesn't need to. He doesn't need the cash in gimmick, right? Like, come in, surprise the heel, beat him in 3 seconds. Like, it makes sense for Big E. He wins Money in the Bank. You know, Lashley just beat Woods in Hell in a Cell. He's going to beat Kofi, we assume, at Money in the Bank. Next night on Raw, Big E comes out and he's like, SummerSlam, you've taken out my 2 guys. I'm cashing this in. We're meeting at SummerSlam. Like,
yeah, and then you could even do a thing where it's like Big E's entitled to do that, but now that they've lost Big E, SmackDown acquires a Drew McIntyre, and you can run Drew and Roman as your, because we all thought Big E would be like a big program for Roman, right? My mindset would be, once we get Cena done, we have Drew and Roman as our big full program, and with Big E, we can like. My plan would be, let's get Big E to a point where him versus Roman is like a mega match.
Yeah,
I think that's feasible. Now, look, do I have faith in this? I mean, I was talking about this with Big E a year ago. I'm not going to get carried away here. I've been talking for a long time. I think Big E, I'll do it again for the sake of, you know, nostalgia. I think Big E is the most can't miss top babyface, face of the company, centerpiece guy in the whole industry. Because Roman is our number one big ball guy. We've seen Roman in that role, and unfortunately, the creative of it limited it. So now he's back to being a heel. Not back to being he is a heel, and he's wonderful. Big E is something special, man. I mean, I really can't. The charisma of that guy, and just how damn charming he is. He's like, he comes off the screen. He's just electric personality. So I'm really kind of talking myself into this again. Of like, man, you could. My mind always goes to Batista and Cena. What a great job they did of that, Jeremy, 15 years ago, where they built 2 guys that were so big that the idea of them wrestling each other was like, wow. Big E and Roman, maybe not the same. You could get yourself in that position. And you could be looking at WrestleMania, not 2022, 2023, being like, that's when we'll do Roman and Big E. Mega match. That'd be my idea. Now, Karrion Kross is probably theirs. I'm not going to get, but it's worth, we do some fantasy booking on here. Like, it's worth saying that for all we just said about the issues with the main event scene, there is stuff to be done here. Big E will be my priority. If it isn't him and you go over Priest, I think that has a lower ceiling, but it's still worth doing. I mean, you've done a good job with Drew. Don't erase what you've done with Drew. I don't think he's, bless him. You've got a generational top heel. The first top heel in WWE history, in my mind, that is clearly the biggest star in the whole promotion. His big match shouldn't be Drew McIntyre, Jeremy. Who? Who are you thinking? Well, you got to give me the name. Who are you talking about? Eva Marie? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. But look, I think
we just spent 30 minutes talking about his brand, Joseph.
I don't know who you're talking about. I have no idea. Sorry.
What did we spend 30 minutes of the show
NXT. Oh, Hunter. All that for a Triple H joke. Now, look, I was rolling then, Jeremy. Look, what I'm saying is, when you have a heel of that magnitude, Drew is a hell of an opponent, and he can have a great match with him and a great program. He should not be the, oh man, imagine we could see it match up. He just shouldn't be. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Big E, I can talk myself into that. It just needs the creative to follow, with him. He's tremendous.
I've sold myself on my idea of Big E winning Money in the Bank, challenging Lashley for the title at SummerSlam, and kind of coordinating Big E on Raw with a big SummerSlam victory here. Like, if they get Brock, they're just going to do Brock. We're talking about all this stuff.
Oh, no, it's
and Big E's going to be at the top of the ladder looking up, ready to get it. And the pain is going to hit, and he's going to take 20 minutes to get to the ring. And Big E's going to be wondering why he can't unhook the briefcase. And Brock's just going to take the briefcase. This is going to happen.
It's a problem. It's a problem because one of the things about WWE from yesteryear, a lot of WWE's product, I think if you and I watched it through our current eyes, we wouldn't like it anyway. I try to keep that in mind a lot. Some of the golden era, you and I were reviewing it on a podcast, we'd think it sucked. That's fine. But one thing they were good at was like the idea of a guy climbing that ladder, and being the IC champ that then becomes the world and all that stuff. I think that's really kind of fell away in the last decade since the reliance on part-times for WrestleMania, which we all understand. The Rock was a big attraction, but it's become to me less about like structure and watching a guy climb, and instead just like you can watch the whole year, but when it comes to the biggest nights of the year, your attention to detail won't be rewarded because we're going to just bring back the biggest guns we've got. And I think Big E is someone that the audience cares about and they've had a built-in attachment to. I think they could have done it years ago, but like I think the world of Brock Lesnar. I think both of us do, and we'd happily watch him fight Bob Lashley. You got to be very careful with this stuff, man. You've got to be, because you can't, and they've done it long enough, but you just can't keep telling the audience you don't really need to watch all this shit we do from these months to this month, because when it comes to it, push comes to shove, we'll try and find someone to come back to do these big matches. I don't think it's good for the fans, for the product, but does it affect their business? Not one iota. So what am I talking about?
JL from the Hood says Joe Hulbert appreciation super chat.
You sent that during our show here. It's very good. I didn't realize you were from the Hood either. I appreciate that, JL from the Hood. That's cool.
Send in your super chats. They just appreciate Joseph Hulbert. The women's Money in the Bank. We had a couple of qualifiers: Asuka, Naomi, Alexa, and Nikki. Any of these women be like, yeah, they're gonna win this thing.
I mean, you're gonna make me do this, right? You're gonna make me. I mean, it seems like Alexa could win this match, Jeremy, because. I mean, I don't know who else
levitate up to the briefcase and just like get it.
I watched that match because I knew we were going to talk about it. I didn't know. I just knew it was the thumbnail and you had this bit planned. So I watched it. And like, look, Nikki's throwing herself into that thing. I'm sure she'll get it over and it'll be what it'll be. It's obviously got a ceiling on it. She knows that. She's more than smart enough to realize that's what she wants to do in WWE. Thumbs up. God bless. I'm watching this Alexa stuff and I'm like, it isn't as far away from like being tolerable now. Like they need to the hypnosis stuff is wild. It's outlandish. Like there's at least elements of professional wrestling in it now, which at one point was legit and on it. Like she was just transforming at every turn. I can see it now being a thing. It's just I don't think it's a good usage of her, but it's a usage. And like there's something to it. The issue with it is I don't see who she wrestles on Raw if she does win it, because it's like, what are you gonna do, Charlotte? Don't seem like Charlotte would want to work with that, sell with that gimmick. And I know she's talked a lot about wanting to work with Alexa, but that gimmick feels like she would just run over it. And Rhea's kind of to me, she's too inexperienced to look after herself in that program. And she'd get.
What if they just, what if they just have Alexa almost squash Rhea?
Sorry to hear that. She's about a foot smaller than her. I mean, I like both of these women, but we need to,
I mean, I get that, but I'm with you. Like, I don't see a long, drawn-out, this version of Alexa versus Charlotte kind of match. Rhea, that you shouldn't do the same thing here. I don't think you can do any type of long, drawn-out match with Alexa in this game. No. Honestly, like, it doesn't fit. Dude, you wrestle the same match you almost wrestled against Shayna. You just do that with Rhea. Like, do they see Rhea as a long-term play? I think she, squeaks by Charlotte at Money in the Bank if she wins at all. I still think that I don't think Alexa's winning Money in the Bank, by the way. I don't think that's
who do we think? Like, I don't think she should. My concern is the two names that jump out the page to me is Alexa and Bayley on SmackDown. And Alexa won it in 2018 and Bayley won it in 2019. It's like, what are we actually achieving here? It's just going in circles.
Banks?
Yeah, but look, she doesn't need that at all. Like, to me, she could come out on any SmackDown and be like, I want my rematch, and it'd be done.
I'm with
you're just, but I get it. I understand what you're saying. It's just,
is there just a long-term play? Because we're thinking SummerSlam or whatever, right?
Yes, yes we are.
Yeah, cash it. Is there an actual long-term play of just put the briefcase on Alexa and then we'll figure it out around November what we're gonna do with this thing? So
in our defense, we know that Carmella had it for a long time. She had it for about 10 months.
Yeah.
Since then, Alexa was night one. Bayley was night one, and Asuka, as we all know, she had it for a day, but it wasn't exactly a cash-in situation. So I think we're reacting to what we've been shown, but no, you're right. But then who is the this is the one we're going to try and get over as a character with the briefcase? I haven't got a clue who that even is at this point. There's no real prospects to me.
You can just put it on Alexa and then just have her
I
in
get
her
that,
playground. Yeah, have her
Yes.
in her playground every week, and the briefcase is holding Lily and some shit. Like it's on the swing with her, and it's just a reminder that it's there and everything. And they don't know what they're going to do with it now, but come November, maybe they'll figure something out of what they actually want to do.
Okay, I'm with that, but is there a person we can circle? Like I just did a 20-minute speech about Big E being the guy. Yeah. Is there someone we can do as the gal? Is there like a prospect we like? Or is it just stale? It seems stale.
On the current roster, Liv. Yeah. Like Liv is it, right? Because you look at the SmackDown women, and because there's the Raw side is set, because otherwise you'd think, because I think Mandy and Dana are on Raw, but they're not in the match. So the SmackDown roster, Carmella, Liv, Bayley, and Banks. Those are legit the only 4 women I know on the SmackDown roster. Obviously Natalya and Tamina, but they're not going to be in the match. Am I missing somebody on the SmackDown roster, women's side?
No. I don't think so. I mean, you might be. I'm not the person to ask, but no, I don't think so.
So, like, Liv would be that person of, okay, let's have her have the briefcase. But see, I don't think they're going with the briefcase at SummerSlam like they could do with the men's side, because the Raw side, you're not doing it. It doesn't seem like you're going to do it with any of these 4 women. Because I think SummerSlam, it feels like Becky's going to have whatever match she wants. And I still think it's Charlotte. I think you're doing Charlotte and Becky, assuming Becky comes back. And then and then the SmackDown side, I think you're doing Banks and Bianca, and you don't need the briefcase for either of these women.
It's difficult. I don't really like the position they're in. I've got to be honest here. I mean, it's a weird one because they have 2 fresh champions, but the division still feels like really stuck in a couple of years ago to me. And I don't even think that's a fair criticism, because Bayley and Alexa have like transformed. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a dick here. I probably am. But if I was Rhea Ripley, which I am obviously not, but if I was Rhea Ripley, I would be like I would be very, very keen on the idea of Bayley winning it and coming over. Now, the problem with that is Bayley has just done 2 title programs. However, Dan says Naomi, perhaps. Listen, man, I haven't talked myself into Big E, but like I've done the Naomi thing 101 times. I have no faith.
I think we both like Naomi. We look, she's super over.
Yeah. She's great. Yeah, it's just what it is. Yeah. We conceded defeat on that one, right? Yes. I mean, if they do it, awesome.
Great,
but we ain't
fantastic. Right. Yeah, I'm not talking myself into it.
If Bayley hadn't just done that title program with Balor, it's like she'd be so perfect to actually just like simplify things for Rhea as a character and be like, I'm the heel, you just kick ass. She'd be great at that.
Yeah.
The issue is after you've just done that feud, I don't know if you want to do that. So she's kind of, I don't know, man. We talked about Shades of Grey earlier and how AEW's women have a slight element of that. WWE's women are getting like really hot. Like Alexa's a babyface. And that's just like insanity. She betrayed Bray, who was also a babyface. But then again, Bray kidnapped her. So was he ever a babyface? I don't know. Maybe we're supposed to be happy that she got free from Bray, who kidnapped her. Maybe not. I don't know. But she went after Randy Orton, who was a heel. He's now a babyface. Is Alexa a babyface? That's my question.
I think so, because Nikki's definitely a babyface, and they got along fine. Shayna was a heel, right? And Alexa was targeting Shayna throughout this whole thing. I think Alexa is a babyface.
Why did she? Here's a question. I can't believe I do this every single week. I fall into this Fiend Law shit. I'm sorry. Do you remember when Alexa was like, she used to talk about the color red? Thank you. And she was like, saying Lily likes red. Do you remember this?
No.
She did this thing, okay, where she was like, Lily likes red, and everyone went, oh, Sonya Deville is wearing red. And then she just went after Shayna. Do we know why she went after Shayna? Because, like, look, for whatever you think about the Fiend Bray Wyatt, there was always this sort of bizarre law as to why he went after guys, right? Like Finn Balor was very nasty to Sister Abigail, all of that stuff. Alexa just seemingly was like, I don't like Shayna Baszler. And that was it. The way they went.
She has red on her gear, doesn't she?
I don't know. Neither of us ever watch her wrestle, so it's difficult for us to. She normally wears black, I feel.
Maybe. And she is the queen of spades, and a spade is black. Spade is not red.
Wow, that was such a journey we went on. Okay, so here we go. Joel's got the answer. Here we go. Sonya, Charlotte, Nia, and Shayna were all wearing red that particular week. So they were just like, listen, we'll put this line in there. Every one of you get your red gear because we don't know which one of you it will be yet. So just get your gear ready. We'll figure it out in a couple of weeks. Okay, that makes sense.
There you go. See, she was wearing red. Anything else from Money in the Bank?
No. I think Kofi and Bob's also. I'm glad they're doing it, but I have nothing else.
Me too. All right. Here we go, everybody. It's time for everyone's favorite time of the week.
History final.
Hello, Robert O'Neill. How are you?
He's doing it again. This guy's out of his mind. Bob, what are you doing? You're on mute. Will you please?
Oh, there we go. No.
It's time for everybody's favorite time of the week.
History final.
Hello, Robert O'Neill. How are you?
This is incredible. I feel this one is enforced, but even still, let's let Bob have his time, Jeremy. Here he is.
You know what happened there? Well, no one cares what happened. I mean, it was all plugged in. It was on the right. It was on the right input for once, and the actual mic itself wasn't turned on. So
sorry to hear that.
It's always something, you know.
Sure is. That's how I often describe this segment. It's always something. That's exactly it. Yes.
O'Neill, what are you doing this week?
We got a big week. We're bringing back the Robert O'Neill Hot Corner. We have a special guest. I don't know for sure if he's here yet. I don't. There we go.
Jack Crosby is here.
Oh, here we go.
What's up, Jack?
Bob, thank you again for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. I'm glad you could join us. We have to get formally started here. Jeremy, I don't know if you're ready with the clock there.
Yes, let me get the timer going here. I'm gonna just take us off screen again. Yo, I don't have a baseball intro, so
I got it. Don't worry.
Make your own. Okay, all right. Well, here's the usual intro. Here we go.
History final. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Robert O'Neill Hot Corner. Jack, I'm glad you could join us again. Let me just play you in here real quick. So yeah, Jack, I mean, if you want to start off, let's talk about why you're here in the first place, because it looks like the Yankees are back.
Hold on. Let me look at my TV. Yeah. 7-1 lead, bottom of the 8th. They are back. I'm buying my World Series tickets. Luke Voigt's going into the Hall of Fame. Great things happening in the Bronx right now. Just spectacular.
Yeah, they got Voigt back. Gary Sanchez looked very good. They're getting it together, man. That's all you can hope for at this point in the year, right?
For right now, yeah. However, the Yankees have been known to pull this. Right when it starts to get hot, they get hot. And then I get all worked up. All the other Yankee fans get worked up. And then September comes, and then my life crashes, and I fall into a depression.
So, Jack, we do have to talk about something a little unfortunate here today, and that's that, since we last spoke, they kind of mandated a new rule in baseball where the pitchers are just getting checked all the time for substances. No one seems to like it. I mean, do you think this is the best solution for this, or what do you think?
I don't like two things about it I don't like. Number one, when they implemented it halfway through a season. You can't do that. You have to do what you did with steroids in 2003 and tell everybody we're gonna secretly monitor this for a year, and then we're gonna put something into place so everybody can adjust. Now they're just telling the pitchers, hey, figure your shit out now or else. And number two, I don't mind the execution of it hasn't been bad because they're checking them in between innings real quick if they cooperate and there's no shenanigans. Real quick, get back in the dugout, get back out. But what Phillies manager Joe Girardi pulled the other night was absolute horse shit.
Yeah.
You cannot, especially when a guy's been checked twice already, routinely, you can't demand a check in the middle of an inning after he's been checked twice already. You can't do that.
And I mean, I think that's the thing, because what's stopping you from doing that to a guy like Jacob deGrom every 2 innings or whatever, try and throw him out of his rhythm, because you're probably not going to beat him otherwise.
No. And again, they're really I do want to see that. I do want to see if it's blatant that a manager's pulling something like that, they should be punished too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Clayton Kershaw brought it up, like they should lose a challenge or something. I think that's a good idea. There should be, some sort of punishment if they, want you to check a pitcher and they don't find anything. But I don't know, man. Like, was this that big of a problem in the first place? Like, it feels like pitchers have been just doing it for kind of ever, and hitters usually adapt.
That's the thing that bothers me. And I've been a baseball fan I'm 37 years old, so probably 36 years of my life. And no, it's not a problem. It was like Major League Baseball created this issue for no reason than just.
That has been Robert O'Neill's Corner 3.
Oh, that was a bit. I love the way that Bob performs when he's with Jack. I can't put my finger on why, but for some reason he sort of transforms and he's like he's interviewing one of the great minds, one of the great coaches, you know? He's incredible.
I mean, Jack is one of the great minds and one of the great coaches.
Someone needs to go back and like clip that, because what you did there, Jeremy, is you took Jack off, which left Bob just like this close going like, and then you returned, and it was sort of like you was in mid-sentence. Like that was the Corner 3. It was tremendous. I mean, look, I don't know what to say.
They're both backstage, and I feel like they're thinking they're going to come back on. Look, we love Jack.
Jack should come back.
It's the Corner 3, Joseph. We have standards to appear to here.
But Bob can go, but Jack should return.
Jack, if you want to do the post show with us, O'Neill left too.
He's like, oh, fuck these guys, man. They're burying me now.
Hey, guys.
There we go. There we go. How are you, my friend?
Oh, fuck yeah. All right. So anyway, listen, Karrion Kross.
No, not doing that. J.K. Shaw says, I believe the hot corner was my idea after tweeting at Jack to discuss baseball with Bob. You're welcome, or I'm sorry. Somebody ban J.K. Shaw. We love J.K., but get out of here. Somebody ban him.
Never. That was, oh my, Jack's energy there on arrival, huh? Holy shit.
JJ gives a Jack Crosby appreciation super chat. Jack rules. Jack, if you talk about Karrion Kross, I'm kicking you off this stream again.
Okay. All right. Okay.
How have you been? How have you been, pal? You been good? We need to reconnect the draft team soon. The Fed are doing a draft. Have you heard this? They're shaking things up again, Jack.
Are they really? No, I've been watching baseball. I had to make some runs today. I've been watching the Yankees had a day game today. Really? That's confirmed pretty much? Like they're doing it after SummerSlam?
That's what the Scoops is saying, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, end of August. Early September.
Well, I'll tell you this right now, and I'll be serious. I won't. Bits aside for a second. I did see, I think it was last night while I was reading through Twitter, something about being brought up, might have been by that WrestleVolts guy, which is 50-50, but about Big E moving to Raw.
Indeed, yes.
Oh, no. Look, I don't care. I don't give a shit if you're a WWE homer or not. This is the problem with that company. You have two companies right now. You have All Elite Wrestling, and you have WWE. You have two top guys. You have Kenny Omega and you have Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, Bob Lashley. I apologize, but you have Kenny Omega and you have Roman Reigns. And the unique position that each company is in is that there is one guy in each of those scenarios that you look at, and even though you know it's coming, it's still the right thing to do. You know that Hangman Page takes that title from Kenny Omega. Nobody else. You know that Big E takes that title from Roman Reigns. Nobody else. Now, which company is going to do the right thing?
So I'm so glad you're saying this.
Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to ship Big E off to Raw. They're going to try every single hook they can to get you to believe that him taking the title off of Bobby Lashley is the right thing to do. Just so Roman Reigns and his cousin in front of 100,000 people in Dallas well, I don't know. Now, this is assuming that Dwayne doesn't tear his friggin' crotch off 5 minutes into the match like he did the last time he was in a wrestling ring.
Okay.
Dude, can we replace O'Neill's Corner 3 with like Jack? I don't know what we're gonna call it, but just Jack
Crosby's Corner 3.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. That is the biggest load of horse shit to me.
Okay.
There's one person, and it's Big E. And that's it.
I don't know how to clue you in on this, but before you came on the show, Jeremy and I did about approximately 25 minutes talking about how this is a good idea and we're all for it. So this was probably not the time for this rant. But I appreciate
really?
It. Well, we were both we talked ourselves into it, Joe. I'm sorry. I feel bad now. I feel like
guys, I'm sorry. I love you both dearly, but no, getting Big E away from Roman, no, it's not the right thing to do. You need to have Big E go full steam ahead. And then you just had Heyman cut that Talking Smack promo or whatever a few weeks or months ago or however. It was fairly recent where he was kind of telling Big E, like, hey, you ain't going to do it, bud. And Big E was like, watch me. Yeah, and then you can draw this out.
That. I know, but they don't. Talking Smack's like stuff for us.
He's the only person in that company, not even just on the brand, in that company that should work his way to being the one to finally put Roman down.
There is one other guy though, right? There's one other guy down in NXT.
I'm not allowed to say his name.
I know, but
and I have free time today, and I like talking with you gentlemen. So I can't.
Do you want to be on the Twitch show, Jack?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll sit with you guys. I'll sit with you guys for a little bit on there, and we'll bullshit.
Right. There you go, folks. Join us for that. Let's promote that. Let's plug that something. There you go.
Let's wrap up. Jack's going to be on Twitch with us around 4:30. Jack, we'll see you on Twitch. Thank you for doing Jack Crosby shoots on. Riven Blade says Jack Crosby's 7th inning stretch with Jack's pinch hint. I like 7th inning stretch. He's not going 7 minutes though. We got I'm not trying to have you fill full 7 minutes. Jack's a baseball guy, so it's got to be a baseball terminology.
Great. I love baseball. Yeah.
Did you understand a word? Did you understand a word they were talking about?
Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I went to a Dodgers game when I was in LA, and I have never in my life felt like I've wasted more time. And I've been to wrestling shows, and I was like, wow, this is truly a waste of my time. It was incredible.
Maybe we'll do like Jack's 3 strikes or something. We'll come up with something.
There you go. Now you're rocking. But he's a professional. See, Bob O'Neill can go at any time because he's Bob O'Neill. Jack has stuff to do, so it's different. But there you go.
Yeah. Well, that's why, you just bring them in. I like pinch hit. Somebody said pinch hit. Raven Blade said that. Literally just said
pinch hit's good.
Yeah, just comes in spots there. I like that. All right, Jack. We'll see you on Twitch. All
right, boys.
Thank you, buddy. Let's get out of this show, Joseph. What are we doing?
Let's get out of this. I say that every morning. Every morning. Our names are all wrong now. Look at this.
Yeah. I did that on purpose. Yeah.
I get every morning I wait and say, let's get out of this show, damn it. Here we go. But it still keeps going. No one's got me out of it yet, man. I have in my bio, I have Ryan that is not appreciated by. I'm glad to see you in the chat and popping yourself. That's good. But in my bio, I've got the please pay me gimmick, and I may just change it to please stop me from having to do the distraction with Jeremy Lambert. But no one's reading it that way, so no one has paid me yet to stop doing the distraction. It's very sad. I'm waiting because someone make me a big offer. Everyone's always me. You know what annoys me, Jeremy? Every day I log on and someone in wrestling media is like, big announcement. I'm moving here, there, everywhere. I have not moved once. Can someone let me move just for a day so I can get the congrats tweets or some shit? It's terrible, Jeremy. I'm just here. Everyone knows I'm here. They think I'm locked into some sort of bulletproof 10-year deal. I'm just sitting here doing a podcast with Jeremy and no one even knows. But just go on.
I think I got an offer from Sportskeeda today.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Yes. And then someone tried to get me an offer and the conversation died immediately. Immediately died.
I don't know what the actual offer is, but I think I got it.
Indeed. I have no heat anymore. So that's baby steps,
That's good.
Many have called me the low key of wrestling media, which I wear as a badge of honor.
Here, you got congratulations. JJ says congrats. Evan Wright says congrats. There you go.
Kind of rings hollow when I've basically demanded it, but I appreciate it, guys. I really do. Craig, he can't move me to the right. Apparently, we have to end the show this way.
I can. I said I'm doing it on purpose.
But that's what I mean. I wanted to let you. I didn't mean you can't physically. I just meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There you go. Let's get out of here. This show sucks. Man, we did it 30 minutes of NXT talk, dude. 30 minutes of it. And I didn't even I didn't even stop at any point. I was like, let's just keep doing NXT talk. There's nothing else to talk about. We have to want Money in the Bank. Tony, this preempted shit has messed me up. Can you bring it back? Here we go. Wednesdays. By the way, Full Gear. Anyone that's going to Full Gear in the St. Louis area, wherever you are at, I will be accepting Coca-Colas for my 2 years of podcasting efforts. Jeremy will be here. We hope to do a podcast in person, which would be incredible, right? Finally, we wouldn't have to.
We're gonna do it.
I know, but these things happen in MMA. So I'm fired up for that. It's going to be great. So many pals reached out and are ready to go. So Full Gear, Tony. I know you're watching. Don't fuck this one up, okay? Do not fuck this one up, Tony. Give me one of the 10 wrestlers I like in the main event, please. Let's not fuck this one up.
Nobody's reached out to me and be like, "Hey, can't wait to see you in Full Gear." They're just like,
but here's the thing. coming from Britland, it's like a big occasion, right? It's very.
I feel like I'm gonna meet everybody at All Out anyway. So by the time we get to Full Gear, it's like, you fucking again, great.
Yeah, Evan, I will sign your 8x10 in St. Louis. I'm going to bring 8x10s in a bag. Get a gimmick table.
Charge? You got to charge for it.
Oh hell yeah, of course, like $10 at least. Yeah, absolutely.
$10 for the picture, and then another 10 for the autograph.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I don't intend to come home. I assume I'll have a job on AEW Dark. I just need to hit the right spot, and I'm there. I can do some job match. I'll be there.
Just wait until we all take a picture with Luther. Just wait until we all take the Luther
brother.
picture.
I may take his spot for all we know. We don't know how it'll go.
All right, everybody. We'll be on Twitch in about 15 minutes or so. Jack Crosby will be there. We might run late. I might have something to do that'll put us a couple minutes behind. But it'll be between 4:30 and 4:45. Those 2 times right there. Go to Fightful Select, subscribe, youtube.com/Fightful. You're on it right now. Subscribe to the channel. Leave us a thumbs up on the video. Give us a thumbs up. Go to The Distraction. I don't even know our own Patreon. Patreon.com/The Distraction. You can go there. You can support us trying to buy the NWA. You can help us with that. I do weekly NWA reviews. They're the 5th best thing we do on the Patreon. Everything else is just whatever Joseph writes. You get Distraction scoops. You could have seen the pile of costumes that I had. You could have tried to piece together what I was actually going to do for this cold open. You can help us with the show by the Patreon. You want to be part of the show, you subscribe to our Patreon. You can actually help us. It'd be great. So there you go. Go there. We will be back next week with a brand new show. Back to our AEW reviews. And that's what's gonna be. Checks. Get the checkbook ready, TK. We're back, baby. We are back. We'll talk to y'all later on.